Hey everybody, Marcus here. Paralysis to act kills off projects before they're even started. I don't know if anyone has ever done a study on this, but I would suspect that for every 100 great ideas that we have, we probably fail to act on 99 of them. In turn, these ideas are forgotten. New ideas take their place. Those ideas also are not acted upon and also forgotten. Why is this? First of all, why do we have hundreds of ideas we consider good to begin with? Well, it must be the case that prima facia, we consider them viable. This means that given our life experience, we are convinced at the moment of conception that these ideas are within the realm of reason for us to achieve. I can't say for certain, but I suspect that people hundreds of years ago were not plagued with an overabundance of good ideas. As in, I believe people of the past had a far narrower view of what they believed they were capable of actually achieving. The mind is a curious creature. If you have convinced yourself of a deficiency in yourself, your mind will filter out ideas that necessitate an absence of this deficiency before a thought enters your mind. For example, I have not had a single idea pop up in my mind that has involved me and anything to do with space. I know I'm never going to space. Hence, my mind does not bring to my conscious awareness any ideas, business or otherwise, where I need to go to space. I think this sort of natural filtering mechanism was far more prevalent for people in the past. After all, if you were born the son of a shoemaker, you were pretty sure that you were going to end up a shoemaker. Consequent to this, you were not bombarded with schemes around how to get rich as a cotton farmer. Yet today, we have this ingrained idea that anyone can do anything, and everyone is capable of everything. Such an idea, by necessity, opens the floodgates for the subconscious to bombard you with endless possibilities because it appears there is almost nothing impossible. But what happens then? You get paralyzed from choice. You have no idea how to filter down these endless possibilities. Have you ever been to a Chinese restaurant that has 200 items on the menu? Kung Pao chicken, General Tao chicken, Hao Sin chicken, some other random nondescript word, chicken. It all reads like gibberish. What does any of it mean? Based on what filter do I navigate this menu? The device to choose what one feels like is not helpful. How the hell do I differentiate an internal feeling of desire for General Tao chicken from Kung Pao chicken when I have no idea what either of them actually mean? You can't. And this is the same phenomenon I think we're all experiencing every day. Now, I started producing soap. I like making stuff and use the stuff I make. But like I said in my last video, it does not hurt to put it up for sale and see what happens. Now, I don't feel pressure to sell, but I would like to put it out there anyways. Now, I'm faced with this seemingly endless set of options. Should I post on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, Allegro, as in the Polish version of Amazon, or Shopify, or a homegrown website, or for that matter, sell on this YouTube channel? The challenge is, I don't know what any of these options actually mean. Sure, on a topical level, I understand I'm creating a storefront, much the same way I understand I'm ordering a chicken dish if I order General Tao chicken or Kung Pao chicken. Yet, that doesn't seem very helpful. It's not helpful because all these properties each have their own rules, systems, fees, and other unknown downstream consequences. Well, you might say to yourself, Marcus, this is not a big problem. Just research each of these platforms and choose one you believe is best for you. Okay, sure, that's a project I need to take on. But now my project is researching like 6 or 7 options, each with their fair share of success stories and horror stories. Now, I have done this research. There are, well, not really any good options. They all suck in their own way. If you search on YouTube, you will find videos listing the 10 reasons it's a terrible idea to start a shop on Etsy in 2024. You will also find videos telling you the top 10 reasons it has never been a better time to start a shop on Etsy in 2024. Additionally, with the price of shipping being ridiculously high, coupled with the percentages each of these platforms take, it seems like selling a product valued between $5 to $10 a unit, well, is a waste of time. Can it be made profitable? Well, of course. At scale, it can. Now, I'm not new to business, so please don't interpret this story as some Pikachu face shock on my part. In my case, all these options are of equal weight. Consequent to that, it makes no difference. I can roll a six-sided dice to decide, and all results will, under final analysis, end up pretty much the same, well, with the exception of rolling my own website. I am using this soap story as an illustration for the grander phenomenon of infinite options we are faced with in life and need to contend with. But what these options have created is an enormous hurdle to move forward. The research project of choosing a storefront was a waste of time. The choices never really mattered, and still, given the ever-changing terms and conditions of these services, my choice will go under the control of, well, higher powers. It's like a marriage contract. You can understand the terms today and try to build a plan around that understanding, but the terms are not guaranteed to remain stable over time. Given the greatly discouraging reality of pursuing any of these options, it is really easy to abandon the soap idea altogether. As I'm doing the storefront business, well, mostly for fun, I can afford to venture into the dark. I can afford to enter the dark because I am psychologically outcome independent of the venture. This cannot be said for someone who is looking to start a business as their core strategy for income generation. For such a person, whatever decision he makes is going to weigh heavily on his psyche until his business takes off. If his business takes off. Until such a time, he will live in doubt as to whether or not he made a good choice. Is his product not selling because he should have chosen Amazon over eBay? Is his product not selling because he should be advertising on Pinterest as opposed to Google Ads? Or is his product not selling because of the pictures, or the lack of demand, or bad branding? Or is the market oversaturated? Well, who the hell knows? Yet, the problem is more defined in my soap example than the starting point of deciding whether or not to start a business or work for someone. If working for someone, doing what? If a business, doing what? It is starting to look like perhaps the son of the shoemaker, despite his self-limiting beliefs, sort of has it easy compared to someone starting out today. The son of the shoemaker knows he is going to make shoes. His father will teach him how. He will inherit the customers of his father. Things were simple in his life. The son of the shoemaker may not have liked this reality, but he was not suffering from the doubt-induced anxiety of choosing a path and then living with the constant fear he made the wrong choice. He was not paralyzed. He was moving forward in building life, even if begrudgingly. When I listen to Zoomers talk about their experiences, it sounds like many are paralyzed. Others are constantly flipping back and forth between ideas, making no progress in any one thing. Others are ashamed for not yet having become millionaires by 18 compared to examples of, on social media. Others still are completely avoiding even the attempt of figuring out their life, while others yet are disappointed with their choice. Others seem somewhat satisfied while living in doubt as to whether or not they should have chosen something else. What I am not seeing much of is peace of mind and contentment. Anxiety is the dominant experience of the youth. Anxiety and shame. Aristotle said that most men were born to be slaves. It seems that what this means is that most people need a master, namely, someone to decide for them what they need to do. They need that constraint from an authority figure in order to balance them out psychologically, to remove the terrible burden of choice and therefore responsibility. There need to be more constraints in life, not less. I think, we're seeing the truth of all this. Goethe wrote that the best artists put the strictest restraints on themselves. It is the lack of options that invokes creativity, not the presence of options. For me, I'm rolling my own site for my soap. Trying to sell anywhere else looks like working for those companies. Host on eBay, you are working for Omnijar. Host on Amazon, you're working for Bezos. I'll leave those platforms for all the dropshippers of cheap Chinese crap. Now, I'd love to sell my soap to you guys too, but, with the shipping prices from Poland to the US being ridiculous, it does not really make any sense except for large orders. However, if anyone wants something like 50 bars of handmade beef tallow unscented soap, we can go half and half on the shipping. 50 bars is around 5 kilos or 11 pounds of product, so about a 2-year supply. We can make it work. I don't expect anyone to really order, but email me if interested. And I'm definitely not listing this stuff on YouTube. YouTube takes a 30% cut, so no thanks. I don't want to work for YouTube either. I want YouTube to work for me. As for anyone struggling to make up their own mind on how to proceed in their own life, check out my starter career video. Honestly, every choice is the right choice, and every choice is the wrong choice. Just assert something and stick with it. Give it enough time, you will get bored of whatever you choose anyways. It's almost like the decision needs to be the reverse of turning a side hustle into a permanent gig. Choose a permanent gig you would be happy to eventually convert to a side hustle. So, well, you can make room for something new when you eventually get bored or begin to hate the permanent gig. Don't stay paralyzed. Assert, act, and let fate take care of the rest. Thanks for listening. Go team.